Welcome back to the channel, I'm Austin, and it's time for the Mac-10 versus PPSH, discussing which one is the best SMG within Warzone. First I'll go over the stats, then I'll give you my opinion, and tell you the best class setups at the end. We're going to go over the most important stats for SMGs in Warzone. To start off with max bullet velocity, the PPSH is going to come out ahead with a 710 to 671 advantage. These bullet velocities are good for subs because we aren't using them at long range, so the bullet velocity hovering around 700 is a good thing. If we take a look at where these weapons excel, it has to be with fire rate, and the Mac-10 is the fastest firing SMG within all of Warzone at an insane 1118 rounds per minute, compared to the PPSH with 904. Both of these weapons are very forgiving to use with their insanely fast fire rates, and your TTK isn't greatly affected by missing. The only downside is your clip may run out too quickly if you aren't being accurate. Now let's see how much damage these weapons do. The PPSH's average damage is going to be superior at close range to the Mac-10's with a 27 to 23 advantage. This also holds true at long range with a 25 to 19.25. Now if we take a look at a full damage breakdown, we're going to be looking at head, chest, stomach, and limb damage. We can see that both have a similar damage profile where they both have a damage drop off with limb shots. The good news is that stomach shots are still good, giving you a sizable target area to hit. This holds true at long range as well. If you hit your shots on the torso and the head, these weapons will perform very well. If you mainly hit limb shots, they're going to be subpar compared to other weapons. The good news is it's nearly impossible to only hit limb shots because it's such a small target area. So since we got the stomach damage being good, these weapons should be easy enough to use. And the most likely time to kill up close is going to be a tie, surprisingly, with 595 milliseconds respectively. However, the PPSH only will take 10 shots to kill, and you do have to hit 7 of those shots on the chest or stomach to achieve this time to kill. And the Mac-10 is an extra 2 shots to kill at 12, and you need to hit 4 chest or stomach shots for this time to kill. Where the Mac-10 has an advantage is that if you can hit 9 of these chest or stomach shots, it will lower the time to kill and shots to kill. We're going to get that to 541 milliseconds and 11 shots to kill. The PPSH can only lower its TTK by getting 3 headshots, which is pretty unlikely to occur, and it only lowers the time to kill to 529 milliseconds. It isn't really worth it to go for headshots on either of these subs because the Mac-10 would need you to get 5 headshots to lower any more than 541 milliseconds. Moving on to long range TTK, the PPSH is going to come out with a big advantage of 661 to 703 milliseconds. It also takes 3 less shots to kill than the Mac-10 with an 11 to 14 advantage. This is significant because the more shots that you have to hit to kill someone, the more likely you are to miss some of those. So for the PPSH to achieve this time to kill, you are going to need 7 chest shots or stomach shots. And for the Mac, it's the same thing, 7 shots to the chest or stomach. The Mac, however, will have a lower TTK if you can get 1 headshot to a respectable 649 milliseconds. The PPSH will only get its time to kill to lower if you can get 2 headshots to the aforementioned 595 milliseconds over in the close range section. I think it is clear and obvious that the PPSH is far superior on long range TTK and use. The Mac kills slower and requires a hefty 14 bullets to kill, making this unusable past duos at 16 meters and beyond. The PPSH has a case to be a solid sniper support option with these stats and its ammo capacity, movement, and TTK. A quick note that will affect both of these weapons greatly is that they have open bolt delay that I did not include in their TTKs. An open bolt delay means when you pull the trigger, there is a delay before the gun actually starts firing. However, the PPSH only has a 33 millisecond delay, whereas the Mac has a 50 millisecond delay, giving the PPSH yet another advantage. The TTKs I gave were if you were already shooting your weapon. This means pre-firing is key to making these weapons perform their best. Taking a look at damage per mag, the PPSH will once again come out on top with a crazy 1,917 to 1,219 advantage. This stat is more important the bigger the mode, making it the most influential in quads, where the PPSH will have a large benefit. Switching over to close range damage per second, the Mac-10 is a bit better with a 431 DPS to 409. Basically, this just means you can have more damage output at close range with the Mac-10, and fun fact, a higher DPS just means the weapon will have a better time to kill. Finally, moving over to the movement stats, the Mac-10 will have a quicker ADS, movement, strength, strafe speed and ADS movement, while the PPSH has a faster sprint to fire time. I think it is clear to see with these movement stats up on screen right now that they're nearly identical, and the PPSH is the second most mobile SMG in Warzone and has 99% of the movement the Mac-10 does. The most significant advantage in these stats is the PPSH's sprint to fire time. Since you're always running around with subs, it is very important to have this time to be as low as it possibly can. If you guys could do me a quick favor and like the video, it really helps. Maybe even subscribe. Alright, I've given you all the relevant stats for these weapons, and it's time for my verdict. PPSH. This may be a shock as the Mac-10 is one of the most popular weapons to use in Warzone because of its fire rate, ease of use, and movement. The PPSH has all of these qualities plus being more versatile. The open bolt delay only being 33 milliseconds compared to the Mac-10's being 50 really helps out. It also has more damage per mag, making it viable to use in trios and quads where the Mac struggles. And you can still use the PPSH past 15.5 meters where it will still compete with AR's TTKs and beat most SMG's time to kills. The Mac is stuck within its close range and doesn't have enough damage to support bigger modes. I've always felt the PPSH is slept on and should be used more. It has movement, TTK, and fire rate, and people should start using it more. Let's start off with the Mac-10 best class setup. And what we're going to be doing is basically just trying to increase the range, tame the recoil, and increase the movement to even better than it already is. So to start off with, the agency suppressor is going to cover a few of those bases: bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil. So it gets the range better as well as you get the sound suppression. Then when we move over to the barrel, this is also going to be a range and movement category with the 5.9 task force. Then for the laser sight, we're going to be using the Tiger Team Spotlight because we get our movement speed even higher, which since it's a percentage-based increase and it's already so high, it means on this weapon, the movement speed increase is going to be greater than any other weapon. And then aim walking movement speed, of course, another beautiful increase. And then for ammo capacity, we of course need to get this up because it has such a low damage per bullet. So we gotta go with the Stagnag 53 round drum. It does lower the aim down sight speed a bit, but it's definitely worth it with this low damage, high fire rate weapon. And then for the last attachment, this is where we can kind of like go in a few different directions. I like the Raider stock personally because we get the ADS firing move speed up, aim walking movement speed, and sprint to fire time. These are all super important for an SMG that you're going to be using close range. Hip fire accuracy does go down. I don't really like to use hip fire SMGs. I'm a kind of an ADS kind of player, so this is how I'm going to go. But if you have trouble aiming it, you could probably get rid of the Tiger Team Spotlight and throw in the Field Agent grip so you get the vertical and horizontal recoil control. But since we're not going to be trying to use this out past about 17 meters because we did increase the range slightly, so you did extend your 15.5 meters out, this is going to be the best build for the Mac-10. Now let's move over to my recommendation, the PPSH, and for this one, as you can see, I have it labeled ADS, so this is going to be an ADS build where we're trying to tame the recoil slightly, but we're mainly trying to get these movement stats to be equal, if not better than the Mac. So what we're going to start off with is sound suppressor instead of GRU. I don't need the extra range because as we've already seen, this thing actually performs very well after its 17 meter initial range. Even without adding range, it's still going to have equal range to that Mac we just built. So this gets ADS, bullet velocity, and sprint to fire speed while still keeping the sound suppression. And then if we go over to the barrel, this is where we actually will add a little bit of effective damage range, so it will still end up being better than the Mac in that aspect, but we get bullet velocity and strafe speed. Then we're going to skip over a laser and an optic, and we're going to move over to the stock, which we're going to be using the Raider, and this is the same thing that we just did for the Mac. The hip fire goes a little down, but this is an ADS build. Ammunition, this is where we're going to be spending our assets here. We're going to go to the 71 round drum. It does lower the ADS slightly, but I think this huge ammo clip is just too valuable to have in bigger modes. If you're going to be using this in duos, you could probably get away with using the 55 round drum, but trios and quads, the 71 round drum is going to be your best friend. And then we're going to go to the rear grip, and we're going to add the Serpent grip on here for the ADS. This thing is going to be so good with movement. You're going to honestly think it's probably better than the Mac. Its ADS with this build is actually going to be better than the Mac's. Its sprint to fire time will still be better, and then your damage per mag is going to be insane. So really, this is the best movement SMG in the game, and you're going to love this build. And if you want to know what long range weapon to pair with this, I'm going to have 2 videos linked up on screen right now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.